Welcome to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. I'm your host, Sandra McEllis, and today we're going to talk about triggers. So, trigger. We have mental triggers. We could have a thought land in our head that triggers something. We could have something that comes through someone else, whether it's a look, something they're doing, a behavior, something that is auditory that triggers us. We could have a situation that triggers us. We could have a feeling that comes out of nowhere or that we can pinpoint that triggers something. And the cascade can go from anywhere from tears and fear, doubt, uncertainty. It has a physiological effect on the body, especially if it's a traumatic trigger, because the body doesn't know the difference between the here and now and whenever a trauma actually occurred. If you get into it, you will have the sweats, the tears, the emotional eruptions that can occur, that affect our behavior, that can freeze us, that can get us in a fury, in a hurry. So our fuse isn't the same. And no matter how many times we get off kilter or out of balance, whether it be through slipping or tripping or getting ready to fall, our body is going to frantically try to find some sort of stabilization. And it's going to happen no matter how many times you either repeat the same imbalance or it's sort of a new balance. The body takes it as, I'm out of balance, I need to survive. So let me get to some kind of homeostasis so that it's not harmed. So there's all these protection mechanisms that kick into gear. Our breathing can become more shallow because our body isn't able to take in a deep breath because the heart rate is up. The nervous system is entangled and it doesn't know how to untangle itself. So then the endocrine system steps in and it's all haywire. And so what do we do in situations like this? As soon as we become aware of the fact that we've been triggered, good, bad, or indifferent, we don't try to immediately get into the root cause of what the heck just happened. We try to get into a place that our body can recover quickly and keep it safe. So we have to trust that all these mechanisms are in place whenever something is triggered on the Richter scale of semi-traumatic to extremely traumatic. It's all trauma to the body. And again, our body doesn't know the difference between it occurring in the now or when it actually occurred, if it's bringing up a past trauma or it's trying to work itself through a current trauma. And then there could be a lot of familiarity with a lot of that. So our body just goes into a spin and a spiral. And the first thing we want to do is pump the brakes. We want to pump the brakes or we want to gloss over it because we don't know how to deal with it. So one of the keys that I teach is how to override that. As soon as you become aware, you stop for a moment and you're like, I'm aware. And you drop into that awareness, which kind of forces you to sit with the awareness because it's going to ricochet rabbit through the mind and the body. And then the key is to connect with that breath. To say, okay, heart, you don't need to palpitate. I'm okay. So I'm going to tell my lungs to take in a full, deep breath. And as I begin to take in some deep breaths and some exhales, now I'm going to take it a step further and I'm going to breathe in slower and I'm going to hold it to the count of 3 and 4. And then I'm going to open my mouth ever so slightly and allow myself to exhale. And then on my next breath, then I'm going to pull it in. I may hold it for 5 or 6 count. And then I may open my mouth even bigger if I'm able to and let out a gut release. And even a sound, if you can, like, ha, ha, woo, ah. So it allows that belly to move. It allows the diaphragm to readjust. It allows the sympathetic fight, flight, freeze to kick over into parasympathetic. I'm okay. I can thrive. I'm alive. I can digest. I can find peace. I can trust. I can slow it down. So then you take the blood pressure down. You take the nervous system into alignment. So now the messages are, ooh, okay, stabilization here. All righty. I'm okay. I'm going to calm the tilter. Now I'm going to filter. And I'm going to get steady in my physical, my mental, and my emotional components. Because I sit in the commander seat as the driver of this vehicle. So for a split second, I thought I was going out of control, but I was able to reel it in through recognition of knowing that I was just triggered, even though I can't quite put my finger on it. So I'm just going to stop, drop, sit. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to continue to just be in this present moment until I can feel that whoosh. I'll land it back in my body. Triggers are going to come from all the sensory systems. See, hear, touch, smell, taste, feel. So sometimes we might need to remove a sensory and close our eyes. Maybe we need to remove some hearing, close our eyes, and just hum. Maybe we need to put our hands together so that we can feel that we're okay. And our fingers are very tactile to the brain. So sometimes just tapping our fingers. Sometimes letting the body know, I've got you. So you can feel that blood going down to your feet. You can stomp your feet a little bit. Roll your ankles around. So that you can feel from the tippy top of your head down to the tippy toes. You can feel it. You can feel your body. And when you can feel your body, then you know I'm in a place of safe. And then in those moments, if you are not able to take the time to sort of go into what just triggered you or why, reserve some time later. And it may be a few days later where you can sit in stillness without interruptions. Say, Spirit, higher self, source of me, that all that I am. Could you please explain to me what just triggered me. And by the way, thank you for allowing me to get a hold of the reins so I could compose myself. That my body didn't need to have all that shock therapy to it. But we are in the times right now, my friends, of merging and purging, where triggers are going to happen in the slightest of ways. You could be looking at photo albums. You could be undoing a box. You could hear something or smell something that reminds you of something or someone. And these are all unresolved emotions that are stored, that affect the physical, the mental, which then are always going to affect the etheric because they're stored in the energy field of the emotion, which disrupt and distort your spiritual way of life. Acknowledge the triggers. Just acknowledge them. And understand that you're okay. That you're not having a repeat performance of a trauma that may have happened in the yesterdays. That just something reminded you that your emotional body, your physical body has a memory. And that memory hasn't been resolved and dissolved and sent back to source because you no longer need to carry it. So opportunities are going to occur that are going to invoke. Are you going to allow it to emerge? Take a good look at it. Bless it, thank it, forgive it, love it. Give it some peace. Let it go. Empty it out. In order to attract more, you got to acknowledge what's already there. So breathe with me, my friends, in knowing that you're okay. Breathe with me and feel that you have a safety net. And you have others like me who can assist you on this journey of letting go. So bobbling around in the fear and the uncertainty and the doubt lets you say to yourself, okay, something needs addressed here. Maybe I need to dial up Sandy and see what she's got to say. I owe it to myself because this is my one life to live. This is my one ride that takes me on this journey of this life. And do I want more of that? The triggers that don't serve me? Or do I want them to be served up so I can take a good look at them and say, thanks, we're done now. Let's go on to the next stage of my life. Let's take another journey through another pathway without all this resistance of carrying these albatrosses of yesterdays with me. Ooh. Just even thinking about that should give you a big exhale. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have to take that with me anymore. I thought I kind of got rid of that before, but I guess I didn't. So look at right now is like, whoa, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, trigger after trigger after trigger. Your opportunity to say thanks, let us be done, go back to source, get out of my body, get out of my mind, get out of my cells, get out of my emotional, empty those cups. So whatever you bring in now doesn't have to mix with all of that. So in order to be more pure source light, we got to unscramble what's been scrambled and take the time to do it. So you know where to find me, info@embodimentofthesoul.com. And thank you for tuning in, for keeping it spiritually simple. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you on the next video. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, and leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing and how I may be of better assistance to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.